Right now, somewhere in your day, you are going to feel it. That itchy, restless discomfort of having nothing to do. You will reach for your phone before you even decide to. You will scroll something you already saw. And you will assume this feeling is a modern problem, created by modern life. It is not. It is one of the oldest signals your brain has ever produced, and it once had a job far stranger than killing time. Think about the last time you felt truly bored. Standing in a line, waiting for a page to load, sitting in a meeting with nothing left to say. Your mind didn't go blank. It went looking. It reached for something, anything, to fill the gap. That reaching feeling is not a flaw in your design. It is a very old alarm bell, and it has been ringing in human skulls for a very long time. Where did it come from? And what was it actually for? To answer that, you have to go back further than cities, further than farming, further than almost anything you'd recognize as civilization. You have to go back to small bands of early humans, moving across open landscapes, with long stretches of time between the moments that actually mattered for survival. An anthropologist named Peter Gray has spent years studying the hunter-gatherer societies that still exist today, groups like the Jew/Hoansi of the Kalahari, who offer scientists a rare window into how humans likely lived for most of history. Gray's research found something that surprises most people. Foraging for food, in these societies, often took only a few hours a day. The rest of the time was unstructured, open, unfilled. That should stop you for a second. Not constant labor. Not constant danger. Long, open stretches of nothing in particular to do. So what filled that time? Not phones. Not screens. According to Gray's observations, it was play. Elaborate, imaginative, often pointless-looking play among both children and adults. Storytelling around a fire. Music made from nothing but voice and rhythm. Games invented on the spot, with rules that changed as they went. None of it produced food. None of it produced shelter. And all of it, evolutionarily speaking, mattered enormously. Here is the twist neuroscience adds to Gray's anthropology. Boredom is not evolution's way of punishing you for being unproductive. It is evolution's way of pushing you toward exploration. A psychologist named John Eastwood, who has spent much of his career studying the exact feeling of boredom, describes it as the uncomfortable sensation of wanting to be engaged in a satisfying activity, but being unable to find one. Notice what that definition does not say. It does not say boredom is the absence of activity. It says boredom is the presence of an unmet urge. Your brain is not idling. It is actively, uncomfortably, searching. For an early human standing at the edge of a valley with nothing urgent to do, that searching had enormous value. It pushed people to wander a little further than they needed to test a new route, to pick up an oddly shaped stone and turn it over in their hands, to try combining two sounds that had never been combined before. Every one of those small, aimless acts was a tiny gamble placed by a mind that could not tolerate emptiness. And some of those gambles paid off in ways that shaped the entire species. Consider fire. Consider tools. Consider the first cave paintings, made deep in spaces that offered no practical shelter and no strategic advantage, only darkness and silence and time. Nobody needed the paintings at Lascaux or Chauvet to survive the winter. But somebody, standing bored in the dark with a torch and some pigment, could not resist filling the emptiness. That restlessness, boredom in its rawest form, may be one of the oldest engines of human creativity. A researcher named Sandi Mann, who studies boredom's effects on creative thinking, ran a series of experiments in which participants were assigned deliberately dull tasks, like copying numbers from a phone book, before being tested on creative problem-solving. Her findings were almost paradoxical. The bored participants generated more creative solutions afterward, not fewer. Being understimulated seemed to push their minds to wander further, to make looser and stranger connections, exactly the kind of connections that produce novel ideas. So the discomfort you feel in a waiting room is not a malfunction. It is a very old motor, built for a world without instant answers. That motor is still installed in you, running the exact same program it ran for 100,000 years. The only thing that has changed is what happens next. For most of human history, boredom had nowhere fast to go. There was no infinite feed waiting to swallow the discomfort the instant it appeared. The itch had to sit there for a while. It had to build. And in that unbearable waiting, something new sometimes got made. Today, the same itch appears, and within about 4 seconds, you can make it disappear completely. a notification, a short video, an endless scroll that resolves the discomfort before your mind ever has to wander anywhere on its own. The ancient alarm still rings exactly as loud as it always did. But now there's a button that shuts it off instantly before it can do the one thing it evolved to do. That is not a small difference. That is the difference between a spark that gets to catch and a spark that gets extinguished the moment it appears. Here's the strange part worth sitting with. The version of you that feels bored on a rainy afternoon is running the exact same ancient software as the version of some early forager standing at the edge of a valley, deciding whether to walk a little further than they needed to. Neither of you is malfunctioning. You are both being pushed, gently and uncomfortably, towards something you haven't discovered yet. The next time that restless, itchy feeling shows up, in a line, in a waiting room, in the 10 empty minutes before a meeting starts, try not to reach immediately for the thing that makes it vanish. Let it sit a little. Let your mind actually go looking the way it was built to. You might not paint anything on a cave wall, but you might notice something you would have scrolled straight past. Right now, somewhere in your day, you will feel that itch again. And this time, maybe you'll let it take you somewhere, instead of reaching for the thing that makes it disappear.